Dun, dun, dun.
Don't worry, I haven't used it yet. The mountains are calling and I must go. We all know this quote, right? It's by John Muir, and he was in what is now Yosemite National Park when he wrote those words because it's beautiful there. It's just gorgeous. But what if you can't just go? What if you have a lung disease like my best friend Mish? That was a nickname I gave her. But she couldn't breathe. She can't breathe with this disease very well. The disease is called cystic fibrosis, and it's a disease of the lungs. And it makes the body overproduce mucus so that the respiratory and the digestive systems just don't work as well. The life expectancy of someone with CF is a lot shorter than someone without. For instance, when Michelle was born, the doctors told her mom that she would only make it to age 18. And this year is her 46th birthday. Happy birthday, Michelle. So, yeah, it's really exciting how far technology has come and the medical advances that have been made. Really awesome. Let me tell you a little bit more about Michelle. We met at church, and she was very responsible all of her life, very responsible. She was an independent study student, which meant she homeschooled. I did not. I was not academically advanced, and she was. And that was really cool because she helped me with a lot of homework. But Michelle and I, we got to know each other over the course of many years. And before you knew it, we were like sisters, and she moved into my house, and we were each other's first roommates. My mom charged us $300 to rent this room at my bedroom. And it was really, really awesome. So one weekend, when my mom was out of town, I threw this gigantic party. And Michelle was a little disinterested. Around 10 p.m., she's like, "Oh, I'm going to bed." If you remember your 20s and you happen to be a partier like me, 10 o'clock is when the party starts. Michelle, girl. But that was her. She went to bed early. She was the designated driver. She left the party a little early. She was a good student. That was Michelle. Well, that little stunt got us kicked out. But on to the next adventure. We were each other's first roommate, and second and third and fourth, we got several different places together. Downtown Sacramento was one. We walked to our favorite bar. It was really lovely. We had a dog named George. We worked at Staples together. It was a really good life. Until it wasn't. So there was a time in my life when I was aimless. I was lost. And I think Michelle changed the trajectory of my life. I really do. I was drinking a lot, was depressed, and I came to the point where I was a blackout drunk. And one particular night, I went out with my friends, Michelle was there, and true to nature, I got drunk, and my friends wanted to go home, and I didn't. And then they took my keys away because I was going to go driving and find the next party. And they said no. Somehow they got me back to bed, got home, back to bed. And the next morning I woke up and I did remember that night. I did. I remembered how nasty I was and how awful I was. I woke up with a massive hangover. There was a little note under my door. And the note was from Michelle. And it said, "I don't know what's happening with you, Kim. I don't know what's going on with you, but I'm worried about you and I'm losing respect for you." Ouch. Ouch. That moment changed something in me. I didn't stop drinking right away, but I was acutely aware of my actions and how they hurt my friends. It was something I will never forget. Living with cystic fibrosis, it didn't stop Michelle. It was just her life. She had breathing treatments. She went into the hospital every once in a while, at least once a year, for 7 to 10 days. She gave herself insulin injections. But that didn't stop her from living life. I remember one time when she was in the hospital, I went to visit her and I ended up staying past visiting hours. And she's like, Kim, just get into bed with me. And I was like, are you sure? I don't want to get kicked out. And she's like, they're not going to kick you out. All right. I got into bed with her and this giant hospital bed, super uncomfortable. And we just hung out. We were bored together and we laughed together and just hung out. Just was there with each other. The nurses came in every 2 hours. If you've ever been in the hospital overnight, you don't really sleep very well. And I was like, God, this sucks. This sucks. Looking back, I don't know how she did it, but she did. And she didn't cry about it. She wasn't upset about it. She wasn't mad about it. It just was. Michelle excelled academically, like I was mentioning before. She was going to Sacramento State University and working on her teaching degree. She was taking these high division math classes. I was taking a math class called Math Anxiety and getting an F in it. And she wasn't. She was excelling in all of her math classes. It was awesome to see and frustrating when she was trying to teach me my homework and I didn't understand. She also is an adventurous spirit. She ended up marrying her college sweetheart. He was from Japan, and he took her back to Japan with him, and she taught English there. She taught English to 1.5-year-olds all the way up to 83-year-olds. She was a wonderful English teacher in Japan for many years, and she loved it. She loved it. We stayed very close over those years, and I ended up getting married. She and I ended up getting divorced, and then she moved back to the States, and then we got remarried again, and it was so cool. And through all those years, we were always close. 5 years ago, Michelle's lung function started to decline rapidly. So it had been declining for some time, but 5 years was the time 5 years ago was the time that she absolutely needed new lungs. Her lung function got down to 23% capacity. Her doctors put her on the transplant list, and it was scary watching her get worse and worse and worse and hoping that she would have her new lungs. She got to the point where we were just hoping that getting new lungs wouldn't be a problem, because she got worse and worse and worse, and she went higher and higher and higher on the transplant list. But she got new lungs, and it was so exciting. And the surgery went well, and everything was great. And then I went to visit her as soon as I could. And I went there, and she lives in Washington, and she took me to this little park where there's a bunch of steps going down into this beautiful area. It was like a canopy of trees and this beautiful forest floor. She ran down the stairs because she could, her lungs were working. And down on that forest floor, she broke out in a dance. She was so happy. And she said, Kim, come dance with me. What is a best friend to do but dance? Yes, this is so great, so exciting. So we danced under that canopy of trees. Michelle went on to hike in Mount Rainier, a very beautiful national park in Washington. That was 8 months after her surgery. She was hiking 6-mile loops and loving life. She ended up buying a piece of property with her husband in rural Washington, and they built their dream home. It's beautiful. They have a beautiful river that runs on the side of their property. It's just gorgeous. She has many. It's a farm. She and her husband built a farm, and they have many animals, and that's what she does. She takes care of those animals now. Recently, she's been having some issues. She's been having some digestive issues, some blockages that she's had to be hospitalized for, and cancer. Cancer has came up in her body, came up in different parts of her body. And so she's been hospitalized recently for two different cancers in her body. It's been cut out of her body, and she's doing really great, but she's slowing down a little bit. The cancer is a byproduct of the transplant medication that she has to take. Otherwise, her body will reject her lungs. That realization it hit me pretty hard, and I confided in her. I went up to see her, and I confided in her, and I said, Mish, that cancer, it's going to come back. And she's like, yeah. And I said, I'm scared. I'm scared. And she said, Kim, I had the surgeries. They cut it out. I'm cancer free right now. And then she tells me, a yoga instructor of 13 years. She says, Kim, I need you to live in this moment with me. Oh, yeah, I had forgotten. I want to tell you that advancements in medicine have been phenomenal. But we still need a cure. We still need help. We need your help. Here are some very fun ways that you can support Mish. The Cystic Fibrosis Foundation is sponsoring an extreme hike in Yosemite this year. And I'm going to be a part of that. I'm participating. But in order to do that, I have to raise $2,500 to do this hike. And I'm confident I will be able to raise that money for her and honor her in this hike. You can come along and raise $2,500 too. The hike's going to be 22 miles, by the way. Or you can donate. And I suggest $46 because Michelle is turning 46 this year. And if we have 46 people donating $46, well, I will have gotten that $2,500 in order to hike in Yosemite for Michelle this year. I am a yoga instructor, as I mentioned, and I have recently created, in the last 4 years or so, retreats. And I love it. So I've decided to create a retreat where women who are busy can slow down, step out of the chaos that is their life, and just be. And we're going to ground, and we're going to have fun, and we're going to eat delicious food, and we're going to take a trip to Yosemite. And we may or may not have a dance, a very sporadic dance planned under a canopy of trees on the forest floor. Part of the proceeds of this retreat will go towards the hike, towards the fundraiser that I'm doing. So please, if you've never been to Yosemite, please come with me and enjoy this time in the mountains. You can also follow my journey on Facebook. It is going to be a journey of training. I've got lots of hikes scheduled, and mentally training too. This is going to be a very beautiful journey where I share the memories that I've had, the fun times and the sad times and all the times I've had with Michelle. And I'll tell you how she's doing too. So yeah, follow my journey and we'll have those links for you. Mish has taught me to live in the moment. She has taught me that there are big wins. No matter what, there are wins to be celebrated. She's taught me that there are things you can't control. You don't have to be mad about it. In fact, let it go, which is what we're going to be doing on this retreat. Let shit go that you can't control. She's taught me that people have mountains and you can shoulder those mountains, but again, you can't control the outcome. So allow the human experience. Just allow it, because you can't control it anyway. Thank you for your time and consideration. And I'll leave you again with these words, these beautiful words by John Muir. The mountains are calling, and I must go. We must go. So yeah, let's go.